Jamie Webster, live in the studio with us here at the Liverpool ECHO. Great to see you, mate. How are you doing?
I'm great, thanks, mate. Just really busy at the minute, but enjoying every minute of it.
I bet you're particularly busy this week because it is Wednesday and it's the release day for your second original single, Living for Yesterday. How are you feeling? You've obviously been through this once already with Weekend in Paradise, but second time round?
Yeah, do you know what? It still wasn't. It was still quite much of the same for the night before. Like when Weekend in Paradise come out, it come out at midnight, obviously. So I was sort of sat in bed really, sort of just itching for the clock to count down. And it was exactly the same last night and again this morning. I'm like checking how it's doing and stuff like that. It's got off to a good start. Probably better than expected again because Weekend in Paradise done unbelievable really. Like how it blew in that first week. I don't think anyone would have expected that sort of thing, and I certainly didn't. But I definitely didn't expect Living for Yesterday to kick off as it did because I haven't really played it much. Weekend in Paradise, I played it for about 6 to 8 months, maybe even longer before the release, so people knew it, people liked it and stuff like that. And so yeah, I know it's not gonna boom as much as Weekend in Paradise, but if I do after streams that I did in a week, with Weekend in Paradise, I'll be over the moon with that, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, as I said to you before, we started recording, I had it on in my kitchen this morning with my 7-year-old lad before he went to school, and he loved them both, like, but I said, like, obviously, this isn't a music critic show, but even someone who's just a music lover like myself, really, you could see this progression from the first to the second single already.
Yeah, well, it's like anything, really, the longer you do it, the better you get at it, and like, even though I wrote these songs probably over 2 years ago, maybe, do you know what I mean? Living for Yesterday was like sort of the natural successor to Weekends in Paradise when I was writing, so my songwriting's getting better and better all the time, and like I've got loads of tunes like ready to go with the album that I think are just as good as both of them, maybe if not better. I just recorded one called This Place and it sounds unbelievable. But yeah, it's progression. I'm now playing with the band as well, so just it's like making a step from sort of being a sort of a folky, rugged just lad with an acoustic to having, to sound like a proper artist, really stand. And it's, as much as I love the footy gigs and I'll always do them, it sort of helps me stand away from them a little bit, and not sort of get pigeonholed too much into that LFC thing, because my own stuff it's inclusive to everybody, not just LFC fans. LFC fans obviously, but it's inclusive to everybody in the world. So I'm just trying to find the best ways to do that, but for the upcoming tour I've got in Feb, I've got a great trio of musicians with me, really strong, and they're making life easy for me at the minute.
Happy days. And you've got a great producer, haven't you? And you've been recording here in Liverpool at Park Street.
Yeah, Rich Turvey has produced both the singles, and that other one that I just mentioned, I've done that with him yesterday. He's got 2 #1 singles with Blossoms produced. Do you know what I mean? He's also co-written on the new Cortina's album. That got to #2.
Yeah.
And that was only beaten by Eminem. That was a couple of months ago.
That little lone artist.
Yeah, so Rich he's one of the best in the business, really. And we've got a few mutual friends that we didn't really know about until we met and sort of worked together. But yeah, I've got a great relationship with Rich. He knows me sound, he knows what I should sound like, and he just nails it every time. But I work with another producer as well. When I record with the full band, I work with Chris Taylor, who's again in Park Street. He's got the lease on it. He's equally, he's a brilliant producer. But Rich's track record is just absolutely blows most others out the water. Do you know what I mean? So I'm really lucky to be able to get to work with someone like him on my first couple of releases, because most musicians in the city who are having a go, they don't really have the support to get in a room with someone like Rich, really, and and let him sort of have his way with your tunes, because it's amazing. And he's improved my songwriting tenfold because just working with him. And I pinch myself sometimes, you know what I mean, just like, because it was always my dream as a kid to like play my own music and write my own tunes and release my own songs, and have people singing them back to me and stuff like that. That was the goal. Once I realised I wasn't good enough to play footy, that was the goal. Like, and music took over my life in a big way, and to now be sat here. If you'd have asked me, if you'd have told me I'd be doing this 2 years ago full time, I would have said no chance. So, like, you know, I'm sort of living out my dream a little bit, and I just hope I can, listen, if I can, obviously the support in the city is amazing, and like I never ever knock it, and it's made me, the support in the city has made me like be able to do all them things that I've just told you about. But you know, to get that on a grand scale in the city and then even go out the city and tour. I know I'm doing Dublin and London, but to do like a decent little tour with a few decent venues and a few, you know, get Scotland in there, get, you know, a few other northern cities in there. If I can do that, that's more than I could have ever hoped for when I was doing this, when I was like 15, 16, playing in bands and stuff like that. So, you know, I'm just buzzing, and I've also got me managers to thank for that. Dave Pitcherlingi, who signed me to his label Modern Sky, he owns Sound City as well. Dave, the belief he put in me, it was a great story with Dave. I met him on the flight to Madrid because he put
for the final,
the final. He actually, that big stage and all the production and that, he actually worked with Liverpool on putting that on, because obviously he's a seasoned pro in this game. And I didn't know who he was. I got sat next to him on the parade and we started talking. And then it turned out he said he manages mates band and stuff like that, but I didn't put two and two together to who he was or what he'd done. And I had him, so we were laughing, we were crying, we were swearing, we were, you know what I mean? It was a good, like, we just hit it off. And at the very end of the plane journey, he said, "Oh, well, I'll come and see your set tomorrow. I'll be on a stage and potentially want to talk to you after it, so give me a number." So I gave him my number and said, "Why, what you do?" He said, "Well, I own Sound City, I also own a record label as well." So I said, "Oh, that's handy, innit?" And yeah, so me and Dave just got off from the start on a boss sort of relationship, and the belief that he's put in me, the team he's got me in touch with people like Rich, and he's brought Alfie Skelly in, who's, you know, brothers Jay Skelly out of Coral. So Alfie's, he's only young, but he's absolutely amazing at what he does in the industry. He's so on the ball musically, and you know he's been on tour with the Arctic Monkeys when he was 16, 17. Miles Kane's a relation of his as well. So, you know, the Shadow Puppets and all, he was there and all that. He knows the game, like, sort of from a young musician's perspective, better than probably most managers in the game now. He's got a young band called the Lathams, who are about to go, you know, stratospheric really. They're going to be, in my eyes, the next Oasis. Wow. I think they're that good. And Alfie's brought them from nothing along and schooled them, and it's amazing really. So to have them two people sort of at the foothold of my own career is great, because Alfie's put me in touch with all the musicians, been drummers, also the drummer for the Lightning Seeds. He's the drummer for Supergrass. Well, he's got a few dates with Supergrass. He's done Sheer Through the Gun. He's only 27. His brother's Chris Sharrock, who's you know, Oasis Knowles drummer and stuff like that. So to be able to work with Jim is amazing. The bass player Tim, he plays sax with the Lightning Seeds. He's unbelievable on the bass. He produces music himself. To have him along, and then Danny Murphy, not the fuzzy player. This lad's actually an Evertonian, but he records and tours with Mick Head. Mm-hmm. He's done loads of stuff with David Edgar, and he's done all sorts of session music, all sorts of big musicians who come over to play Sefton Park festivals and that. Danny's the session guitarist, and he's absolutely mustard. He's also got his own band called the Peach Fuzz, who are doing really well in the city. So these musicians, like I was saying before, they're just, it just makes things so much easier for you to work with, and again, they're making me a better musician. And so I've got Prachi with them tonight. I did the little tour that I've got in about 10 days time, the little 3 dates. And then the 4th date is sort of a Wednesday night, supporting the Sherlocks in the Invisible Wind Factory, which is a support slot, which is good. They're a young band who are doing amazing at the minute as well. So yeah, on the music front, mate, it's you probably haven't even had to ask me many questions. I've just, like, there's loads going on. There's absolutely loads going on my solo career front, and it's boss. Do you know what I mean? It's just great to be able to say I'm doing it. Even if it all falls down tomorrow, do you know what I mean? To say I've done what I've done already, it's sound. It's more than I could have ever asked for. It's got me out of, well, that and the Liverpool stuff combined have got me out of, you know, the sparking game for, you know, what looks like it's going to be at least a couple of years. So that means, you know, not getting up at 6 in the morning and going to work on a freezing cold
on days like
these. On days like this, it's amazing. So you know, my half fella's probably made up to have me out of his hair as well. But yeah, it's spot on. Just and thank you to everybody who I've mentioned and everybody else who's listened and supported me, you know, for making it possible, because I couldn't have done it without any of them people. It's always like a collective effort and anyone does, so definitely. Thank you.
It's interesting what you said there about Oasis. Like when I was growing up, even though I'm from Merseyside, they were the band who kind of like sparked my imagination, got me into music. And there's definitely, I know you've made your name on the back of your Liverpool FC songs, but you can see you're getting an audience of your own now with this music. You see someone like Jerry Cinnamon now. There's definitely a place, isn't there, probably in working class culture, but different class cultures as well, for this type of music. It never seems to go away. It might go away for a while, but it'll come back again.
Yeah, definitely. It's relative, isn't it? You know what I mean? Like, if you listen to the lyrics in my tunes, these two tunes touch on a certain aspect of life, do you know what I mean? But to so many people who I know, and I've been in that sort of circumstance, do you know what I mean? I've been around them situations, and like, it is very, very relative to how things are, and that's what I go for in music. I think music should sort of tell a story of like, where you're from, what you feel, what you see, what you do. Sort, you know, at the same time, it's got to make people dance and have a melody to it. But you know, I do like, I don't sort of try and write nothing songs. Every song's got a concept, and it's yeah, that's what I'm going for, and I made up. You've picked up on it, mate, because you know, it's whether you're 21 or 45, you know, you've seen them sort of situations arise, and some of the other tunes that I've written as well, they touch on other aspects of life, and it's just basically all about working class struggles and working class releases, you know, methods of escape. Mm-hmm. That's what I want my music to be, and I think, you know, if people sort of look past the Liverpool FC, Jamie Webster, and listen to that, and listen to my original songs, that, you know, they'll get what I'm sort of trying to say, and hopefully support it, and, you know, come down the gig, sing along and everything else.
Support of the city, you can tell that by the people who come to your shows, downloading the single. You can see, obviously, with every kind of Liverpool FC theme gig you've done, you've got the support of musicians in the city as well, it sounds. And I'd just like to bring on someone like John Power before we speak about Madrid for obvious reasons. Like, imagine these kind of the guys who you looked up to growing up or listened to, and then now you're kind of rubbing shoulders with them. Yeah,
just like John Power's, you know, like the Lars, or like Lee Mabbers was singing in the Lars, John Power, the Lars, Cast, and even some of his solo projects are like brilliant. He's just a top musician. He's been and done an awful lot. He signed to a massive record label in Polydor. I think, was it 97? No, it wasn't even. It was probably about 93, 94 maybe. And he's literally the scousest musicians who ever walked the planet. You know what I mean? He's great. It's some of the Cash tunes, you know, everyone grew up on, and they're still absolute bangers today when you listen to them. So, John, I've had John to have John sort of supporting me in the Liverpool aspect, which we talked about the last time I was on.
Yeah.
He's great, but like to sort of in the real music world, to sort of play in his shadow is something that I couldn't have dreamed of doing, and you know, just even like for him to pop in the dressing room, all right, Jamie, good luck, and that, you know what I mean? Enjoy yourself, and I'll catch you after the show. It's great, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's cast. You know what I mean? It's cast. It's John Power. So yeah, just to be like sort of mentioned in them sort of in the same sentence. To be fair, for someone to say, "Oh, I went to see Cast and Jamie Webster tonight." Mm-hmm. Like, that's boss, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's again, it blows you. I don't think about it, to be honest with you. But then when I talk to people like yourself, and they bring it up, it's, you know, I'm sat here with a smile on my face now. So yeah, it's great.
I'll probably ask you a similar question. Sorry.
No, crack on. Makes me feel good about myself.
Madrid, we've got to talk about Madrid.
Yeah.
Last summer, obviously the football made it complete, winning that 6 European Cup. But what was it like in that fan park? I was working that day back at the office, but all my mates were there, and they just said it was absolutely magical. Some said it was even better than a match in some ways. What was it like, you being up on that stage?
It's something that I'll never ever forget or take for granted. You know what I mean? It was just like euphoria from this, but like from the day I had it sort of ups and downs, there was a few stresses and like around like, you know, getting people backstage and like, you know, everybody was trying to get hold of me and stuff, not like in a bad way, and then stuff was going wrong with the sound system a little bit because the police were asking us to turn it down. The police were looking to cancel the event about an hour and a half before I was due to go on. So like it was a roller coaster of a day. And then when it did finally go ahead, the build up for me to get on the stage, I was just itching to go, and I was just it was just, if you look at some of the videos, like, you know, I make that stage look about 3 foot, you know, wide, you know what I mean? And it wasn't the case. But it was just even just to stand back and look at the likes of John Power play, You'll Never Walk Alone earlier on in the day, when everyone was sort of just getting into the swing of things, it was amazing, and I had a tear in my eye then, and my set was just, to be honest with you, felt like I'd had a boxing match for about an hour.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It was just full on, like, just I give it everything I had. I just remember thinking to myself that, you know, when are you ever going to get this again? Do you know what I mean? If ever, you know, this is your day, like, you know what I mean? So just go and give it everything you've got, do you know what I mean? Let it be everything you imagined it to be. And it went very quickly, I'll tell you that, like, because like, it was like I was in a scrap. It was just like full on euphoria, adrenaline, anger, love, just, I can't describe like really what was going through my head. I can't really remember what was going through my head during the gig. It's sort of quite vague because I was so pumped and so like on the edge of it. But at the end of it, I remember the end of it very, very well, and it was like I nearly well up every time I tell this story, to tell you the truth, mate. I was just remember playing Allez Allez Allez, and there was a point in my set where I was sort of thinking, because there was so many people, I was thinking, is everybody sort of singing with me here, or is it just and then I sang Allez Allez Allez, and it was just like, I could just see everything just sort of like all in sync, and I couldn't see the end of people, and the people that I could see, I seen like 3 generations of families together, and like, you know, lads on dad's shoulders with the granddad next to them, and like full grown men sobbing, like, you know what I mean? I even spotted a few people who were new, do you know what I mean? Paddy the Baddie, do you know what I mean? Up on like a thing, because you can't miss him, do you know what I mean? And I sort of gave him a shout out actually, and I was like, alright Pads, because he was the only person I seen who knew in front of me, and he was about 8,000 people back, but I couldn't miss him, do you know what I mean? Because like, obviously I know him, and like I know how he sits, and it's just like sort of the way he was, it was just like him. We couldn't have been anybody else in Madrid at that time. And I just like remember seeing all that sort of montage, hearing them singing, and if you look at the video, I'm sort of like nervously laughing in between lines, and that's to stop me from crying. That's to stop me from, I'm going like, because I'm like, what is happening here? Like, it's just, and then like, I literally screamed all sorts of stuff at the end of the, you know, sort of like a rally cry. Probably went wrong a little bit, to be honest, because I was that like, you know what I mean? But I let everything I had out, and you know, anything that I had left in the tank at the end of that song, I let out in that sort of primeval cry. And like, I just saw the energy just instantaneously, like, normally like after a gig you're buzzing, and you're like, but like, it was like, the energy just went boomf. And I was like, what? Like, it was just, everyone was just I just remember, like, running sort of past everyone, and like, going behind, like, the curtain, and like, wrapping myself in, and my bag come running in, and I was like, streaming with tears. I don't know why, I was just crying my eyes out, just like, everything just, it was just an emotional, like, it was unbelievable. It was the best best feeling I've ever had, crying, obviously, like, you know what I mean, but it was just mad. And then after it, I just remember going to getting like between the back of the stage and like the pavilion where we had all our stuff, there was about 50 yards, and obviously people sort of just come round, and like I had to sort of make my way, and I just remember people just sort of, obviously everyone's asking for a photo, but we had a final to get to, then was the aspect of that, you know what I mean? So like, even though it was an amazing experience at the time, I never really thought about it too much, other than that like moment of Allez 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 and the cry at the end. Like after that it was just chaos, it was just bedlam, and like I had to get into the pavilion, and like my dad was nearly fighting with people, getting people away from, like, you know what I mean? It was like they were only being like nice and like just, but it was just like I had all sorts of people from Liverpool getting me across, and then all the Boss Night lads with me, obviously, and my family, and then all these people just swarming and like pulling, pushing, you know what I mean, like just grabbing, and it was quite scary, to be honest with you, do you know what I mean? And then because there wasn't like, we had a few of the LFC stewards actually who were just like who were there like doing the, as a friend, who just got involved. Tony, one of the stewards on the he's on the Kenny Dalglish. He's one of the head stewards on there. He got involved, and he was throwing people away from me, and it was just it was chaos. But then it was an amazing experience. Like, do you know what I mean? I could never ever dream of doing something like that again. And I don't know what I would do if I had the chance to do something like that again, because like knowing how good it was last time, that was sort of like not knowing how good it was going to be sort of kept me sane. Do you know what I mean? But like knowing how good that was, and sort of having to top it again, it'd be like the pressure it'd be. I reckon it'd be quite like, I reckon it'd play on my mind a lot, and so like the whole aspect of everything's just of maybe doing that again. I reckon it'd probably send me over the edge before I even got there. But yeah, and then I don't know if you want to move on to the match, like. But
yeah, well, what was that like? Because you've gone from there to the actual game then, and a little matter of a European Cup final to watch, which is big enough anyway, isn't it? Yeah,
well, me and the lads from Boss Night sort of had a car, like obviously because we work with Liverpool to take us to the ground, but then we realised that there was one too many for the car.
Yeah.
And like this point we sort of sneaked away at the back of the pavilion. I was lying down on steps, absolutely goosed, with like a pair of sunglasses on, cap on, like just like lying flat, like goosed, absolutely drained. And everyone was stressing about the I was like, I can't be bothered with all this stress. I seen a taxi come past, and I said, boys, honestly, you make your way to the ground. I'm in a different section to use anyway. And I got a taxi to the ground on my own.
Oh, wow.
Just to sort of give myself a bit of time to myself, because I'd done a gig the night before for Liverpool as well. So, like for like a sort of a sponsors do for the club in an hotel. So that was like, I hadn't had a minute. The old, even in preparation, we'd had a chaotic like Irish sword build. Like that was like that like sort of 45 minutes go on the ground. It was like the first time I sort of had to sit and just like think about the old.
Take everything in.
Yeah, and it was like, if anything, it just tired me more. Do you know what I mean? So then the traffic to the ground was a joke. People were just getting out on the motorway. So then I was just on my own walking along this motorway to the ground. Ended up in the gods. Well, amazing to be in the ground, you know what I mean? Didn't see anybody I knew, but just had loads of people coming up to me. I was shocked, and then I seen someone who's a groundsman for Liverpool, who I've known since I was about 4. And like, he's one of my older cousins' mates, and I was mates with his sister going through school and that. So it was boss to just see someone like him. Do you know, he's not really too fussed about all the music side. He's just like, how are you, how's your mum and dad, and all that, you know what I mean? So I couldn't have bumped into anyone better. And sort of just sat with him, and the first goal gave me like a big kick, you know what I mean? And it was like, right, we're back in this.
Adrenaline, back again.
But then the second half, like Spurs sort of grew into the game a little bit. I thought we managed them well, but you know, Alisson made a few saves, and you were thinking, oh, you know what I mean? Like, the life started to come out to me again. And it was just like, it's like 70, 80 minutes or something, about 75, 76 minutes. I was like that, and I just thought, come on, like European Cup. And everyone around us sort of, it was like a collective moment from the away end, I think, or the home end, whichever end. Yeah. Even in the upper tier, like the lower tier and the upper tier combined, just sort of stepped up our voice, and we were like, no, come on, 15 minutes here to being European champions. We need to have a go again, you know what I mean? As well as, you know, like with 3 weeks off and all that, and we took the lead so early in the game, which can be sometimes.
You can score too early. Almost,
yeah. We've done it before in cup finals against like Chelsea and stuff in the past. So it was just time to just get behind it, and we found our voice, and then the goal, just bedlam. And like obviously the celebrations were great, but like I had more work to do that night. But it's probably the best job I've ever had. I got to go to the players' party.
Oh wow! And play for them.
And play for the players on entrance with the European Cup.
Oh my word!
So it was in their hotel and like a thingy, and got down there. Colin Murray was hosting there and stuff like that. Gave over from the Anfield Rap was there. Chelsea Grimes was there as well. We were the sort of entertainment, and in a way my set was a bit too early, but I managed to get me better. Because I had Liverpool like very nicely off them provided me a hotel, the hotel that I'd played in the night before the game. So I had a hotel the night of the game. It wasn't in the players' hotel, but it was in like one of the sort of sponsors' hotels. So it was nice, you know, because the prices were extortionate, weren't they? And so my bird had actually travelled with me, my mum and dad. They come from Alicante and drove up. Yeah. So they had a hotel sort of just a bit outside Madrid, but I managed to get me and my girlfriend, because obviously I had a sort of a double room, so my bird stayed with me the night of the game, and I managed to get a wristband for the party. Much of me mates, like, I don't know about that, like, obviously, but like, it was probably the fairest way to do it, because like, I couldn't have chose between my dad and my brother. I couldn't have chose between any of my mates, so I just brought my bird with me.
So we can all be angry with it.
Yeah, but yeah, so that mainly to be angry with her, right? So, like, obviously I was on the stage and I got a sort of a countdown to the players' arrival, and next thing the door bursts open and Jordan Henderson's still screaming with the European Cup in his hands, and all the players come in behind him. So I play Allez Allez Allez, and they all start singing along. Play the Van Dijk song, they all start singing. It was great, like a sort of 30 minutes. But then I sort of finished my set, no voice left. I had to sort of end my set there. And then the sort of night just, everyone was told to, everyone who sort of a sponsor or a partner who was invited was told that this was the first party that they'd done with no segregation to the players, but don't overstep your boundaries. So after 10 minutes, once sort of the players had stopped with the European Cup, the whole room just went over to the players and the cup, and like I had to act professionally, which was sort of a bit of a kick in the teeth, I suppose. But like sort of the best, I got a picture took with the cup thanks to Pep Linders. Pep Linders come over to me because lots of players had all the booths, but I sort of spent my night with Phil Thompson, Robbie Fowler, John Aldridge, all the ex-players basically. I was stood with them all, and Aldo took the mic off Chelsea Grimes and started saying, "Who's won the European Cup? Who's won the European Cup? City, no. Everton, no. Chelsea, no. Liverpool have won the European, we're back and all." And just like sort of, Aldo's a legend, like, you know what I mean? And he was great that night, and I sort of I was playing footy with a balloon with Robbie Fowler's kid for a bit, you know what I mean? Just sort of looking at all them enjoying themselves, and a few scouts had managed to bunk in with the kids, do you know what I mean? And these little scouts kids would just see them all round the room, round all the players, and just it was a boss night, and ended up like I was on my way out for a smoke, and I just so happened to brush shoulders with Klopp. Well, first of all, Pep Linders come over and was like, "I've seen your videos, they're amazing." Like, he asked me to take a photo of him and his family with the European Cup for him. So I said, "Yeah, so can I have a look at your medal?" And he showed me his medal and all that. And then my bird actually, because I wouldn't have had the sort of mouth to say, because I had to be professional. My bird went, "Well, I'll take the photo for you, but can Jamie take one after it?" You know what I mean? And he was like, "Yeah, of course." And I think Joe Gomez and like Ryan Brewster wanted the cup. Just as I was about to get a photo took, and Pep was like, "No, hang on a minute, like, let Jamie get his photo," and that was boss. And I can't remember who it was to the side. Might have been Joe. There was a few of them stood there, but I can't remember who wanted it. But anyway, Pep sort of done me a good one that time. And as I'm walking past Jurgen, this is like one of the best stories of the night, really, of the day. Jurgen had all sorts of people, like, obviously, as you can imagine. "Yeah, Jurgen, what was this? Barcelona then," you know, talking. And you could see he was just like, "Oh yeah," he's like trying to enjoy himself. So I just tapped him on the shoulder and just said, "Jurgen," and he just turned around and looked at me and sort of discarded everybody else who was there and just turned to me, and I went, I'm not going to bother you with anything, mate, I just want to say thank you." And you know what he done? He just looked at me with like this like smile of like anger, enthusiasm, everything, and he slapped me across the face. And just like, I was like, looks back at him and he's like, no, thank you. And he's like, Jamie, come here, give me a hug and all that. And then I said, Jurgen, this is me bird. And he goes, hello, Jamie's bird. And he hugs me bird, picks me bird up, and my bird won't even let me pick it up, you know what I mean? And yeah, so like, that was amazing. I just left him to it. I just said, have a good night, you deserve it, you know, enjoy everything. And like, I got to have a bevy with him actually on the pre-season tour. The
season before, or no, just gone?
No,
yeah.
The season before, it was just sort of a surprise appearance,
yes.
But I actually got to have a few hours in a bar with him. Like, he requested me to sort of turn up, went on his night off sort of thing, you know, yeah. With his staff and that, and got to have a couple of bottles of Bud Light with Jurgen, and little cheeky and that, you know what I mean? Just like had a proper boss chat with him in New York, and like probably about 1:30 in the morning.
Wow.
And it was amazing. Yeah, he's just a top fella. So, yeah, since post-Madrid, he was actually saying to me in Madrid, he's saying to me in New York about Madrid, said, I've watched them videos, and like he said to me actually, did you cry after you played? And I was like, what do I say here? Do you know what I mean? Do I play the hard man, or do we just open up? And I was just like, you can't lie to the gaffer. Do you know what I mean? You just can't lie to the gaffer. And just like, because I sort of got let in, everyone calls him the gaffer, whether they work for the media, sponsors, yeah. He's the gaffer. Yeah. And so I sort of adopted that sort of mindset, and it's like in my head just going, you can't lie to the gaffer, lad, do you know what I mean? Actually, I had John Powell. Do you know John Powell, the photographer?
Yes, well, yeah, I don't know, but I know the name, obviously.
He's been a photographer for 40 years for Liverpool, and he's been there, he's like one of the most, and I had his voice in my head saying, you can't lie to the gaffer, lad, do you know what I mean? And I just remember saying, no, yeah, I'll cry my eyes out like a little girl, to be honest. And he just went, well, you know what? When I watched the videos a couple of days later, he said, I was crying myself. Mm-hmm. And he was like, so I made up that you cried as well, do you know what I mean? And just shows you what a fella he is, and for him to take the time that he's took with me on a couple of occasions now, is just like phenomenal, really. And you don't get that sort of thing from anyone else. It just shows he's the perfect man for the job, isn't he? Do you know what I mean? We can't beat around the bush in any way. Listen, people criticise his decisions against Everton at home in the league, beat them 5-2. Everton in the cup, you know what I mean? But you're not taking the FA Cup seriously. Plays like, all right, a couple of Origi, Minamino, and Milner started the game, and Anthony was in goal. But like, he's disrespecting, and we beat them 1-0. Then even this thing that's gone on in the with the Shrewsbury game, he went on holiday and he left it to the academy, and we're criticising him, and we've gone through. Do you know what I mean? It's like, if I don't know why people, if there's ever any question or doubt about him, you let the man do his thing. Do you know what I mean? Because I tell you now, just from what I've seen from the inside, like from being on the inside, he knows what he's doing, and like he's got things ran at that club like an army. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It's like everything from top to bottom is in place when it concerns the football and the players and everything else. And even to try and keep in touch with the fans, it's so regimented, and it's so like set in stone. It's not even like, it's almost as if he's got it into like a thing where like failure is not an option. Yeah. Losing is not an option. It's not something that happens anymore. And he's like brought back that mindset that people talked about under Shankly and Paisley. Do you know what I mean? And for me, he's there. Do you know what I mean? If we carry on this unbelievable run, I'm, you know, such words, because I don't like to jinx things, but if this goes the way we think it's going to go, you know, he undoubtedly has managed the best Liverpool team in history. You know, for me, like, in Premier League history. Yeah. Like, and Football League, I don't think has anyone ever got the points tally that we're projected to get? No. You know what I mean? It's like people talk about Barcelona doing stuff like that in that unbelievable Barcelona team under Guardiola and a couple of managers before around that era. This is another level in every aspect of the word. Do you know what I mean? Of the words, rather. It's just, things are great at Liverpool Football Club at the minute, really are, and like, you know, we've got a fully fit squad for Norwich. And like, people forget that we've got to where we are
with big injuries.
With big injuries. Yeah. You know, we've relied on like a core group of players for a long period. And all right, we've had some fringe players come in and step in at times, and every one of them has stood up to the level. Even like when Shaqiri come in against Everton, he was unbelievable. He was top professionals. We've got a team full of professionals now, and the starting 11, the quality in there is just, and it all comes from him. Do you know what I mean? It all comes from Jurgen Klopp and Pep Linders as well. He's like he harvests what Jurgen Klopp does. You know what I mean? And sort of like amplifies it as well. In like the, you know, when you look at him taking the training sessions, even the way he is with people, he's just, even like his mannerisms in interviews when he talked about the game and he was saying, oh, you're going to play some of the, you know, the less used players, some of the fringe players, and he said, don't you mean European champions? Do you know what I mean? He's like, it's great. Liverpool Football Club at the minute. And my sort of little part that I've had to play in it. Like, I could tell you more. I could go on for longer, lad, do you know what I mean? There's so many things that have happened sort of since Madrid, and are still happening now. There's so many things in the pipeline, and you know, if we carry on the way we're going, there's going to be so many more things that happen. And yeah, it's incredible really to be a part of, and even to see, even if I wasn't, even if I did
what you were doing,
if I was still a builder or an electrician rather, and there was another lad sat in my seat now, and like Liverpool were doing what they're doing, I'd be absolutely over the moon for them, and I'd still be absolutely over the moon to be involved in what's going on, because it's not just me who's involved, it's got every fan who contributes to any sort of like part of this, you know what I mean? Whether it's going a game, whether it's not going a game, whether it's just being a supporter and just, you know what I mean, enjoying the moments, you know what I mean, and being part of the moments. Come the parade time and everything else, everyone who's been a part in that parade of the European Cup, he's the one made it what it is, do you know what I mean, and made it unique to Liverpool, and it's you know what I mean, these are the best days of my life, definitely. And you know, even for the young, imagine for kids who are like 16 to 18 to 21, you know, I'm that little bit older now, I'm not that much older than 25, 26 in April, but you know, these are sort of my prime years. But even for these kids now who are just coming up, do you know what I mean? What it's when I was sort of 16 to 18, we were like, all right, we had a decent run under Rodgers and we nearly, but like, I had Hodgson, I had like, you know, sort of Kenny sort of return, like even, all right, we had a good run with one of Rafa's years, do you know what I mean? 09, was it 09, 10 or 08, 09? Yeah. It's one of them, I can't remember now, but you know, these years now are the years. I am speechless in to find like a defining word for it, because you can't. It's magic in a way, innit? You know what I mean? You feel it.
Most definitely. Just one final question, mate, because you give us so many brilliant memories there. We know what's next up for Liverpool: Premier League, Champions League, FA Cup. Who knows? For yourself, you're going back to Madrid next week as a fan, aren't you?
Yeah.
Then you've got gigs, and then is the potential album to come in 2020?
Yeah, definitely. The album's going to come after the end of the season. You know what I mean? Because you know we all want to enjoy the madness at the end of the season, and for me, I don't think I'm in the country between the end of May and the end of July. I'm besides Glastonbury, which I'm going to, as just a music fan. Yeah. Like I'm literally working all over the globe with doing Liverpool fan events. So then after all that stops, time to concentrate on, you know, promote my album. Like I say, I've been recording it. It's going to be probably finished by the end of March, start of April. There might even be a cheeky little Liverpool FC EP thrown in somewhere along the lines for all the, you know, for all the young Liverpool fans who've been, and old, who've been asking for it for so many years. There might be something there coming up, but for my own music, definitely, you know, the album's due to drop at the end of the summer. I'm about to announce, well, this is going out tomorrow, isn't it? Yeah. So Thursday. The O2 Academy in the 26th of September. Yeah. Is sort of my album party gig. Yeah, that's in the big room, so that goes live at 6 o'clock tonight. Brilliant, yeah. So it'll be out tomorrow when you're all listening to this. So, you know, if you want to hear the full, I'm telling you now, based on the support I've had with my own stuff, it's more than likely to sell out. And don't leave it to basically a month after the album comes out, because I know people will like the album. I hope everyone will like the album. But, you know, get online or Skiddle, Ticketmaster, see tickets. You can get it on all of them. Yeah, you just want to get yourselves there, because it's going to be a good night, and I'd hate to for people who are fans of me to sort of leave it to the last minute and potentially miss out. So, you know, get involved with that. And then I'm going to hopefully, well, my management who I mentioned earlier, they're planning a tour around sort of the north of UK, maybe a couple of southern dates, and Ireland as well. Going to do a couple of dates across, you know, over in Ireland, north and south of the border. And just hopefully then use the momentum I've built again with all this Liverpool stuff and stuff I'm doing in the city and try and take it to the next level. Who knows if I don't? Like I say, it's supposed to be able to have a go and be able to sit here and even talk about these sorts of things. So, and if I do, great. Hopefully we'll talk about it soon.
Definitely. Well, Jamie's been incredible 2-3 years for Amazing. It sounds like it's going to continue. Thanks very much for coming in today.
Thank you very much, mate. Appreciate it.